This episode is brought to you by Backpocket Talent, your go-to fractional HR partner for startups, small businesses, and growing teams. If you're hiring your first employee or scaling fast, Backpocket helps you stay compliant, build culture, and lead with confidence. They make HR feel less like a headache and more like a growth strategy. From onboarding guides to manager training, they've got founder-friendly tools that actually work. Check them out at backpockettalent.com and follow along on LinkedIn for real talk on hiring, compliance, and building teams that thrive. Welcome back to Namaste and No Way. We are super excited for our guest today. We want to introduce you to Nicole Hart, who is the CEO and co-founder of Backpocket Talent. And I have known Nicole for, let's just say, over a decade. And I met her at my very first HR job. And then I have followed her to multiple companies because she is that amazing of a leader and organizer of teams. And and she's been my mentor for a long, long time and now a really good friend. So we're super excited to have her on the podcast today.
Thanks,
welcome.
Megan. Namaste, no way, I'm here.
We're so excited. So we have known each other a long time, and you have known many evolutions of me.
Oh God, yeah.
As of,
but you're the reason why I'm sitting here on the podcast, because now I'm following you, or you used to follow
which
me,
is
which makes it a
right?
little weird.
Yeah.
It probably feels weird.
It does feel weird.
It does. When
totally.
I met Nicole, I was a temp, and I was leaving a school counseling job. I had no idea what I was doing in life, and I didn't talk.
Oh
no, she did not talk. We were literally sitting in a room one day, and we had to do this I-9 audit, all HR, blah. But I'm sitting there trying to tell her what she needs to do, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna try to get to know this girl. And I'd ask a question, and she'd give me a one-word answer, and I was like, oh my
awkward.
God! I'm like, she's so awkward. I was like, but I'm not gonna give up yet. And I just kept going and going.
It's so good that you didn't give up on her.
Well, I know. I think
Changed my life.
Right? Yeah.
I've had her do some weird things too. I've put her in some awkward situations.
Yes. But I was fine with it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when we were at Rocket, it was really interesting because we worked for a person, really nice guy, but he just saw her as like an administrative assistant. And I kept going, she's more than that. She's amazing. She's amazing. And I always said, whenever I go someplace, I'm going to take you with me. And she was in my back pocket too.
Yes.
Not go to back
Back in the day. Yes.
Back in the day, I had her in my back pocket, and I still do.
Yes.
But it was pretty interesting. You're a ray of sunshine. And my last, the company that we work for, Access, I called her up and I said, hey, I just started this job and nobody knows what I'm doing because I'm going to get promoted in 2 weeks because I had to lay off everybody.
So they told you, but they didn't tell anybody else what was happening?
No, they hired me, and I had whiteboarded what I wanted to do. And the guy said, what would you like? And I said, well, I really would like...
to get rid of everyone.
No, I said, no, I didn't. No, they were nice people.
That was their plan.
No, that was their plan. But I said, I really want to bring my a friend of mine who used to work for me, Megan, in. And so I called her up on the phone.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And you... talked to me, and I said, I just got to talk to 2 people on the phone. She never even came into the office. It was so far away. It was in Peabody.
It was so far.
She lives, in Hingham, so that's a long haul.
Yeah.
And she came, and we literally were working in a warehouse with a mouse.
No, it was so far away. And I had just left my job. So I'd been in a job for 5 months, and she was like, do you want to come? And I was like, this is a crazy thing to do. And then I vividly remember sneaking into there was a locker room at the job I worked in to talk to one of the guys. And I was he was asking me all these random questions, and I was like, I don't know any of the answers because I was also going into a job I'd never done, but she just believed in me. So I was like, all right, I'll believe in myself. But yeah, I remember driving. It was a company that stored things in boxes, and I remember driving the first day.
Oh, is this
Brian's
the job that you used to have to go and someone would ask you for a piece of paper, and you'd have to go in this big warehouse and open up the box and get stuff?
Yes, that was the company. Yes, that's exactly what the company does. Yeah, but the first day I was driving, and Brian's like, do you think you'll have a desk? Is this even real, or is it just gonna be a box? And we went in, and there was a desk, but there were spiders everywhere, and there were mice, and
so they didn't have a cleaning crew.
No, we eventually moved into a corporate office.
We did.
But we started in a warehouse.
Was it a startup?
It was very early.
No,
sort of,
kind of. Well, they were doing a startup within a startup. But it was really funny because she went into it and not knowing, ever being an HR business partner. And I would be like, all right, well, we don't know what we're doing here. So we'd sit in a room and we would like whiteboard and like, oh, you go do this and I'll go do this. And we became like this amazing
What is
team.
whiteboard?
Write on a whiteboard, like
on
ideas.
a whiteboard, ideas.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are we doing here?
like
with
organize
this
So
your
whiteboard?
corporate. We whiteboarded.
It was so cool. Nicole used to say things in meetings, and I would be like, I can write that down and Google it. So many people. No, but she was like the most supportive manager. I remember the first time I had to fly to Philadelphia to give someone a warning, and I went with like the head of sales, and I'm like, I am so outside my depth. And we had to meet with like the general counsel. And so I like do it and deliver it, and it's fine. And then I called Nicole and I was like, I'm at the airport. And she's like, how'd you get to the airport? And I'm like, oh, I let the guy I gave the warning to drive me to the airport.
Oh, she had to fire like a few weeks later.
And she was like, what is wrong with you?
Is that a problem?
And then she called the head of sales and she's like, why did you let her get in the car with this random? But he was a great guy. I still like,
you
still
still
really
would have
like
taken
him.
the ride.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But yeah.
He follows both of us on LinkedIn, but yes,
Yeah, no,
he's a
he's
great guy,
so
very
great.
funny.
But like, yeah, that was probably not like the best thing to do. So Nicole is always there to be like, can you maybe? Yeah.
I used to always make friends. Like when I worked in retail for a bazillion years, like for many different companies. And I used to like always kiki with HR. And like literally they would call me an HR nightmare. Like that's what they would call me because I would just like, I would bring people in here and be like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Like I would just be like, and then like literally like they would write their statements. Like people would steal and I would be like, you can just write a little confession here or whatever. And they would like write everything out. And it was very easy for me to get them to admit to things because I was very, okay, this is how it is. Like, we're going to need you to say what you did because we already saw it on the camera anyway. So like, unless you want to go to jail, like, you know what I mean? And then literally like I would have them like write it out and whatever. And then they'd be gone. And HR would be like, that's not really how we do things. Like, you need to call your partner. And I'm like, but it's on paper. And he's gone. So, Like companies, like, they have an HR company. And, like, in retail, I feel like it's the only place where they make the store managers or the district managers deal with the HR issues. They have a business partner in HR. But, like, I'm like 22 years old at the time. And I'm literally, like, firing this 40-year-old man who worked for me. You know what I mean? Like, it was so bizarre. And like, you have no skills because you're like a young kid.
It's a totally different skill set.
And
no, that's not taught. You're totally right.
I have them now because I ran stores for all these times.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, like, it was like my first like store. I was in college. So like it was nuts. And like, I'm trying to like get rid of this 40-year-old man who was very irate with me. Yeah. Like, the store manager had like left with the Bahamas. I think I told you this. She left with the Bahamas and never came back. She like went with her boyfriend there and never came back. So they gave me the store. Like, it was nuts. And when I tell you, like, I'm sitting with this grown man, 22 years old. And I'm like, well, you did this and you did that. And like, you have to sign here.
That's why you need a back pocket talent. See,
that's
exactly.
Yes, that's exactly what you need.
Right? Like, that's exactly.
I mean, we had a huge HR department. It was like the limited company. So they were pretty big, but like, they just didn't. You know, Lex Wexner, or whatever his name was, the big head of the company back then, he didn't care about any stores.
What a cool name, Lex Wexner.
Sorry. That is a cool name.
He wasn't really a cool guy, though.
No, but I like that. Lex Wexner.
I feel like he had some
cool name.
stuff like harassment or something with him. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not
but he had a lot of companies.
Yeah. I feel like that's super common, though. Like, you hear those stories a lot. And I feel like that's kind of part of why you started your company, right?
Yeah.
To like.
Well, I think I watched you. So that when I was at Access and I decided to leave to work at this company, which I thought was going to be my forever job, but I left and no, the first time she left, actually, you left because it was after you had.
It was after I had Bex. Yeah, it was like 6 months later. Yep.
And she's like, "It's not you. It's not you. I'm not leaving because of you.
It was not you.
And
at all.
No, but everybody blamed me because she was like the superstar. They did. They're like, she left because of you. You're really
not true. I told everyone that's
not true. Right. So they're like, she left because of you. And then somehow like I don't necessarily got demoted, but they started stripping. It was the weirdest thing. Like, it was like
they restructured kind of.
They restructured, but it didn't make any sense to me. But I remember asking her, I was like, why are you going? And I mean, I get you like postpartum depression. You had a lot of things. Yeah, it was very complicated. Yeah. But she's like, oh, I did this thing. I know you hate woo-woo. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, Well, I'm
Was
going
it
to
your
tell
breath
you.
work?
No, it was
No.
pre-breath work.
Pre-breath
Yeah.
work, but
Yeah.
it changed my life. So she did tapping. Like
Called EFT tapping. It was this random guy named Greg who lives in a trailer in like the middle of the country.
He lived in a
He's
trailer?
amazing. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know. I knew that later, much later on.
Would have changed your mind? Maybe you wouldn't have done it.
No, it
he,
changed my life.
It totally changed. Yes.
Wait, what is
same.
this tapping?
So it's called emotional freedom technique tapping. It's like a somatic modality. There's like certain points like on your body you like tap while you're like saying certain statements. So it like helps release like unconscious patterns.
Okay.
And you like connect into like
I've never heard of this.
Oh yeah, it's become a little bit more popular.
Oh my
I feel
God,
like.
changed my life.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, totally changed my. But I could get to that in a second. But so she leaves, and then I think like 6 months later, or was it a year later? I don't even remember how long you were gone. It felt like
It was like 6 months.
It felt like eternity to me when. So I had been courted by somebody else to go, and I was hemming and hawing, and I left, and then she came back, and they the day I gave my notice, they called her within an hour.
Which didn't help with the revenue, but it was really just that I had made a mistake leaving.
Yeah. And the money was really good. They did.
It was like double the amount of money.
Yeah. They doubled her salary.
But it probably didn't feel good for you because they were like, she left because of you. And then
no,
literally the
I
day
called
that
her,
And
she's
then
coming
it
back.
all came back like, see, she left because of you. And I was like, no, that's not
And
true.
now she's back when you're gone.
But I called her and I was like, listen, this is the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was fine.
It all worked out.
It
Yes.
worked out.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of a kind of funny story.
Yeah.
But watching, Megan, and then she quit again, and then went.
She quits a lot.
Well, no, but she changes her career. But
Yeah.
the thing about it is that she's always wanted to do something that was really in the wellness space. And what my admiration for her when I lost my job in January was like, I'm so done, and I've always wanted to run my own company for years. I've wanted to do something. It could be catering. Still want to do catering, but
Multi-passionate, midlife.
Do you cook?
Yeah.
I love to cook.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's a really good cook.
I
You should be a
love.
chef or something.
I want to do this. So there's this little country store in Vermont. I have a house up there, and I want to see if they'll let me do some cooking for them over because the snowmobilers come in.
Yeah.
Just basic things like shepherd's pie and stuff
Oh,
like that.
that'd
Like
be so
She's,
fun.
I went to her house once and she's like, we're just going to make a basic dinner. It was like 7 things. We
Oh my
made
God,
our
that's
own
amazing.
bread.
Wait,
it was
what?
like,
Really?
all
That's
these
right.
things.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
that's
I love
nothing.
that.
And then she's like, oh, you're good at baking. Like, can you decorate this 7-layer cake? And I was like, no, I don't.
No, I can't.
I made carrots and everyone was like,
Oh my God, no, the cake was great. That dinner party was a bust, but the cake was great.
It tasted good.
It tasted really good, but no, she was an inspiration for me. But the tapping thing, I think what for me watching her go through everything, but I only tapped 3 times, and it changed my life that I realized, and not to get into like some emotional but I had these codependent behaviors from growing up with an alcoholic parent that I would pick people. And I would always try to make everybody happy. And I was never really, but I never took charge of my life, and it changed everything. And I think watching Megan made me realize that, you can change and it's okay to take a risk, where I never was, you've known me since 2011. I was not a risk taker.
No.
So now I'm in my
probably
mid-50s,
not. Yeah.
and now I'm going out and like starting my own company.
Which is so cool.
Which is
So
cool.
cool.
But
But it's a risk.
It's
You
a
weren't a
risk.
risk taker, but you always like were willing to like something that really inspired me is like I was a perfectionist and a people pleaser, so I wouldn't do anything unless like I knew I would be good at it or do it so perfectly. And you would just do the thing.
Yeah, even if
That's
it was
the-
awful.
No, it wasn't awful, but it was.
No, I was saying, I had to do some bad things and fire some bad people, but I'm just saying, sometimes it was awful.
Yeah, it was like the saying, like whatever, like done is better than like not done. Like you would always like push people forward. Like that's like So I feel
Christmas Eve night phone call, or December 23rd night phone calls at midnight, trying to get something for some private equity company.
Yeah. That's a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
But
But I feel like in your company now, you're like taking everything that you learned and like building on it, but then also taking things like that you didn't like
And making sure it's never happening again.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me hear about your business now. Like, what is your business about?
So my business partner and I, her name's Rachel Brace. Hey, Rach.
That's my middle name.
My middle name's Melissa.
Oh, that's so weird.
Actually, if you want, can we go back to this really quickly? Because we were talking about something before I started. So my real name is Nicole Melissa. It can't be Nicole because of my namesake. So I had to go with Nicole.
Yeah, what's
Melissa.
about your namesake? Because this is pretty interesting.
So
this is really cool. You have to hear this.
Yeah. So I was born in Washington, D.C., and my dad was in the military. My mother was from England, and they were living in this apartment complex in Alexandria, Virginia. While my mom was pregnant with me, she used to babysit for the Kidman family. And
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
If you're wondering.
Yeah, so Nicole Kidman. And Nicole's father was in the military, and he was a doctor. I think he was a doctor, if I remember correctly. And they were stationed in, I think in the DC area at the time. Yeah. So when I was born, my dad was going to be stationed in Colorado, and my parents were like, we really like your daughter's name, Nicole. A, will you be her godparents, and B, we're going to name our daughter Nicole, but we're moving away. We'll call her Nicole Melissa. I'm just adding in ad-libbing because both my parents are deceased, so I can't get the answer. And I didn't know anything of it, right? So I guess my parents and the Kidmans stayed in touch till probably like I was 5, and we were living in Germany at the time. Mm-hmm. And then life went on, and here I am studying abroad in college, and I'm in England, and I get this package in the mail from my mom, and it's like cut out pictures of Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, and I can't remember what the name of the movie was at the time. And then my mother had photocopied a picture of my, Catholic certificate, whatever you want to call it. That's your godparents on it. And that was it. So then my mom was like, well, I'm going to reach out to the Kidmans. I'm going to find them. And, and of course, at that point, their daughter's really, really famous. Yeah. And guess what? The Kidmans never responded. Shocker! It was a shocker.
But they're still your godparents.
They're still my godparents. I wish I was a good Catholic, but I'm not. But that's my
because your godparents disappeared. No, I'm just kidding.
My godparents did not take care of me. They would nurture me. They got too hung up
they
on
did
things.
take an oath. My daughter was actually baptized late. She was actually baptized this past weekend. We're Catholic too. But we moved from the North Shore to the South Shore when she was born, and we couldn't find a parish, like whatever, because I'm married to a woman. We wanted to make sure it was the right fit. Then my neighbor introduced us to Sacred Heart School, and because she does like the bulletin. She's like the church lady. We love our next door neighbor, Lisa. Yeah, we love her. And then we ended up, she ended up going to Catholic school there, and then they were like, oh, we can baptize her, at church, whatever. So anyways, we did this past weekend, and her godparents were there. Obviously, my Ryan and Virginia are her godparents. But it was so funny because, she's not a baby. The other baby that was there, he was getting baptized as well, but his middle name was Francis, and so was
same middle name. Yeah, awesome. A lot of middle name connections.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know that.
I could have sworn you would have, because either that or like when we do those stupid icebreakers at work.
Yeah, that's such a good one.
That was usually Nicole Kidman. My other one was I used to dress up as Chuck E. Cheese, but that's my other.
I know that. I can't believe that either, because I got bit in a Chuck E. Cheese when I was
by a rat?
A young kid. No, by another kid.
Oh,
never told you this story. Yeah,
no, but
I got bit by this kid, and my mom went over, and like it was like gushing blood, like there was like broke the skin.
Oh my
God. My mom went over and started screaming at him, and he's like, I didn't do it.
But he did do it.
No, he had an identical twin brother.
Oh, no way. That was kind of lit.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I did it in college as a second job, but I wasn't good at it because you had to like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Megan's birthday. Let's go around the room. She turned 2 and followed Chucky. And like, then, I was a college kid. I was hungover. And then the kids were like,
oh no,
so
jumping on you.
Like I used to just sit on the floor and let him beat me up. And then one of my best friends from college, who I'm still really close to, because she would lead the tour, and she would just have to pull me up and pull me in the back room and yell at me because I just got sick and tired of people hitting me. So
I bet
Chuck E. Cheese was not a really good thing. And then at that point in time in my life, I did not know I was going to go into human resources and actually try to help people out when I was a violent Chuck E. Cheese. No, I wasn't violent. I'm just kidding. That's
a good circle back, though.
Yeah.
So what differentiates?
What differentiates Backpocket? Yeah. So many small companies, they don't have the, like, under 50, they don't have HR departments usually, right? They'll have an office manager or somebody's doing it off the side of their desk. And usually they don't know what the compliance are, and
they don't know what the rules are.
And they have a payroll company, and
Yeah.
the payroll company says, well, we keep you compliant, but they're not really keeping. They're keeping you.
I mean, all you do is put the posters up in the back. You
Yeah,
know what
exactly.
I mean?
If
To be honest.
So we thought, Rachel and I thought, well, what if we started a company that you would pay monthly, and we would go to your employees and we'd represent ourselves and say, here's our phone number, here's our website, and you'd have a portal. So each employer has a portal. They log in, and their employees can ask questions. So instead of like, if you have like 15 people and somebody's being harassed, they can just turn around and call us, and we can do the investigation. So it's not as scary. So that's the premise of it. And then we do a couple other different things. We'll do like full-on consulting work. If you want, like we're talking to a company right now who wants us to come in and write career families and job descriptions, because they're trying to expand and grow across the state and then across the United States. So we'll do different project work like that. But the bread and butter really is actually that we're there whenever you need us. And so I was
like on standby, basically.
On standby, right? And so you get a certain number of free hours of consulting work and stuff. And as I was joking, but I'm not joking, we actually do have we've actually used Megan's name, because a lot of people know me, know her, and they knew we were a good team. So when I say I have Megan in my back pocket, it's true. But I've actually had a couple of people say, well, maybe if we do something, maybe she could we have her be the person. Because obviously I'm going to be working on bigger things, so it's like I love it. I put her in my back pocket.
Yeah, no, totally. I know, it's cool. Like it's
Back Pocket Megan.
Back Pocket.
It's better than Back Pocket.
That can be my
bitch.
new nickname. Yeah. Oh my god.
But in all seriousness, I thought it was kind of funny, tongue in cheek, that so when we created the name Backpocket Talent, I will say we are 13 and a half weeks into our business, so it's new. And I will say I do have a third employee. I mean, this one's on, adjunct, who hasn't really done anything yet. But it's artificial intelligence has been really helpful for us, to kind of get through it. And so the first name that I picked, because I am dyslexic, it was a cool name, but I'm not even going to try to say it because I kept saying it wrong. That my business partner was like, well, if you can't say the name, it doesn't matter if it's really good or not. So she took it.
Point.
I think it was like Talent Synopsis. No, see, it wasn't Synopsis. Synapsis. I can't even tell you.
Synapsis, maybe.
Synapsis.
Yeah.
And so she went in and she said, okay. And I had like created logos. I was far along in this process because I've been thinking about it for almost a year before she got on board. So she types it in and she said, well, Claude said, what about Backpocket? And we were like, Backpocket Talent. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It's a good one.
Oh, yeah. So then we took it. And then we went to another artificial intelligence. I do feel bad because people are losing their jobs. We went to another one. I don't know what site it was. And she put it in and she said, create a logo for us. And it literally created a denim piece of looks like a jean. And then in gold is a little pocket.
That is so cute.
Yeah. So that's how it came up.
It's the perfect logo.
It's the perfect logo. And so we wouldn't, it's so creative, but I have to say my third employee, Claude, he created it, and I give him credit, and I give him a lot of credit. Now I actually have to pay him because we were using him for free, and he has decided he's on our payroll. Yep. So we pay him monthly. We play Claude a monthly.
And you're learning to get to know him, just like a person.
Yeah, just learning to get to know him. But then he suggested, and I thought, damn, he's good. So we've been told we need to do podcasting, which is thank you for both of you for letting us be here or letting me be here. But, Claude said, you guys should really think about a podcast. And then we were like, all right, well, what would we call it? He's like, how about Backpocket Bitch? And so we registered it. So no Backpocket Bitching coming out yet. But I mean, it could be like, Backpocket Bitch.
Yeah,
bitch,
I like it.
Bitching.
I love it.
Well, and it's like women owned.
Women owned.
Yep.
So it's a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's a bad bitch. So
exactly.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. It's going to be really badass bitching.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And then maybe you guys can come on my podcast.
Yes, totally.
Because we're going to talk about founders, right? Because you guys are founders. I mean, you guys are really starting something really cool. I love the fact that, and by the way, I've listened to it on Apple. I've listened to it on Amazon. I do not have Spotify. But those are the two channels. It just depends where I am, where I download to listen.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That's so cool. And you did talk a little bit about how it did take a lot of bravery. And we talk a lot about midlife transitions here and how it can feel weird to like reinvent yourself
and scary
and scary and like letting go. Yeah. So like, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like how that's been for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. So what I thought was really interesting was when I finally decided in July that I was going to do this, I had been so stressed out and so miserable. And from working for corporate America, from working for people that are narcissists, from making me do things that I just never wanted to do that were either unethical or unethical to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really struggling. And then all of a sudden, the day I registered the business, it was like this, like a
weight lifted.
Oh, it's like this beautiful room, right? Like I just like sunshine came out of the way, and I was like, oh my God. And even though I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage or anything, I just felt like this is it. I know I can, and I know we're going to be successful. And so I think the energy, I feel the energy is like coming out of me where I'm going to be successful. And I have to really like, it's not like I believe, it's I know. And I think there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And totally. When I was in corporate America, you know, you go through every day, and you know this, like you're working for, I hate to say the man, but you're working for people.
For the man.
You work for the man or for the company, and you lose a little bit of your soul. And I felt like my soul just came back. And I'd love to ask you guys, like, how is it for you guys? Like, you're what? This is the 12th episode, or we're way into it now?
So this will be our 15th episode? 16th episode.
I think. Yeah.
16th.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I can't say I'm going to do anything and not do it. Like if I set my mind to something, I will see it through. Even if it's not successful, I'll at least say I did it. And when we were at the gym in June, I mean, literally we talked about this in May or June, and we started recording in July and finished by and released September, right? No, we released. When did we release?
Yeah, I think we actually it's a little bit sooner. We released in July.
So April, so I think it was like April we started talking about it. May, and then June, and we started. That's right. We released in July. You're right, because I was on vacation. So when it finally got released and it was like out there, I was like, we did it. We absolutely did it, and it was scary. And I mean, I still kept my job as a hairstylist. I'm still a hairstylist, but the goal is to make this very successful. And I mean, I would like to be like, have people come to our show live or, you know, whatever. Like, I think it's important to support other women and small business. And it is scary, but so many women are doing it now. So many women are leaving their corporate lives and their tons of money. I mean, I made a ton of money too before, like in corporate, like it's not necessarily only about the money. It's about how you feel waking up, going to that job, or what you're doing. If you're making an impact, or you're changing someone's life, or you're changing your own life, or you're feeling good about what you're doing. And that to me is probably more important than the money, you know, like in my opinion.
I think that's it. Like I wanted to be genuine, and I felt like there was this person that we worked with, and I remember she told me the story after I left, but our HR pod, we sat in this area, and there was a gentleman. And I would complain about all the time, right? All the time. I like, because it was open floor plan, but we were locked in our own little area.
Worst idea ever.
And but as a person, I really liked this guy. But as a business person that I had to work with day to day, I did not like him.
Yeah.
But I could, like, when we would go on trips, I'd go golfing with him, really enjoyed it. But the day that I was leaving, he called up, you know, and I must have had him on speakerphone. And I was like, oh, I'm really going to miss you, X, because I'm not going to say the name. And one of our colleagues said, oh, she's a fraud or a...
I don't remember what it was exactly. But yeah, like just like two-sided. Like, they didn't understand.
Two-faced?
Yeah.
Two-faced.
Yeah.
And my thing is in HR, you have to be a chameleon. In HR, like you have to be able to adapt constantly.
Poker face.
Yeah,
totally.
or be, you know, you could be in a warehouse like we've been in, or I've been on rigs, like going to an oil refinery to do paper shredding, to sitting, you know, in a boardroom. You're in a chameleon thing, but like I feel like here it's just like I can be whatever I want, and if I don't
be authentically yourself,
authentic myself, and I can make my business what I want. Like we actually worked with an attorney, and we wrote in our contracts for our customers that it's only 30 days notice, because if we give you advice, and let's say I just wrote an article about this today. I give you advice because someone was sexually harassed, right? And I say, hey, I did the investigation. They really did harass it. I think you need to get rid of the person. And you turn around and say, well, that person generates so much revenue for me, I can't do it. I don't want to be there anymore. And I wrote in my contract, I didn't write that example, but in my contract, I just said, well, then, you know what? We can part ways, because I don't want an employee coming to me, finding out that what they came to was right. And then I try to do the right thing. And then you turn around, you can't. And that, going back to like, that's authenticity. And that
doesn't align with your values.
Right. And so that's why I wanted to kind of do this, you know, like
I love that, because there's so many instances. Yeah. I know this, like from working in HR. I mean, with HR, you know, and being in that sort of scene, like there's so many times that they were being harassed and they got warnings after warning after warning, or they moved them to a different store. And it's like, that's not fair to the person or to the next person they're going to harass. Like, just because they made a lot of money or they did.
They were bringing in so much revenue. Like, let's take the revenue and not worry about the safety and the morale of everybody else in the room. Yes,
because that does affect.
Oh yeah. I mean, I worked at one company where I just remember I got this phone call. You weren't with me at that time. I didn't know you, actually. You did not exist in my life. It was pre you. But I got this phone call, and it was really weird, from this guy in Chicago. And he's like, if I saw something at a meeting, but it wasn't my meeting. He was a regional director. I saw something at a meeting. Should I tell you about it? And I said, if you saw something in a meeting that was, bad, you need to tell me about it. You know, like, you need to. Like, you can't just, don't worry about it. He's like, I don't know. So, like, 3 weeks later, I get this phone call from a sales rep in Chicago. And he's like, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and they're doing this thing in Vegas, and they're forcing me to go, and I don't want to because it's bad for me to be in that environment. I was like, well, yeah, no, you're right. Right. You're like, yeah, right. I said, so let me do some research. So I called this guy who called me up, and I go, in Chicago, a few weeks ago, you called me, and he said, all right, I'm going to tell you what happened. Well, the employee came into a sales meeting with a machete. Knife. Oh. No kidding. And
was he wasted, or like?
He had a violent temper. And so I was like, did you not think that when you called me and asked me that question?
I mean, that's a pretty big.
That's a pretty big, yeah. Uh-oh. And so he's like, oh, I'm really sorry. I was like,
what was his reason for the machete?
Well, so he didn't have the machete. It was the alcoholic. I don't know. I couldn't figure out. So I call back, and then I was like, I got a lawyer involved, because at this point it's above my, I need help. And so we were doing the investigation, and I'm doing the, talking to all these people in this room. And then I find out more and more weird stuff. So finally I call back the person who said, I don't want to go to this thing. And I said, hey, can I talk to you about this event 3 weeks ago? You're coming after me. I filed a complaint under the American with Disability Act because I'm an alcoholic, and you're retaliating. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm going to get killed, because they wanted me to fly out and fire him. And they ended up like, we had
so complicated.
So complicated. No, this gets even more complicated. Yeah. They hired a private investigator as I was doing the investigation, and like found out he had owned all these guns, and they were following him. We had to end up, a law firm got involved. They came out and fired him. They removed me because they didn't want him to
safety. Oh my goodness.
For safety reasons. And then they had, I think it was either 3 or 6 months, we had security guards at both the front and back door every day.
That is crazy.
Crazy, right.
Yeah. So this all to say, no matter how complicated your HR situation is, Nicole can handle it.
Yeah, I'll handle it for you.
Definitely be able to handle it.
Yeah, I'm in your back pocket. I can figure that one out.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's cool. It's really cool. Like, doing something at midlife, you do have to be brave and willing to take a risk,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And own it, but own it in the way you want to own it. And I like, again, go back to Megan. I credit her for making me go on this journey. She just doesn't realize it.
And I feel like it sounds like you're leading it with integrity too, which I think people would be kind of interested in, because sometimes HR can be a little bit gray in a lot of areas. And like, I feel like you have a good sense of values and integrity. So I feel like people would like that.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I hope so. We'll see.
So cool.
Come back in a few months and I'll let you know. Or when you come on to Backpocket Bitch, I can then tell you. We get the session 2.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, tell people where they can find you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We are Backpocket, which is all one word.
word.
Well, yeah, actually, Backpocket Talent, all one word.com. We have a
Awesome.
website. We do free HR health checks. So if you aren't sure, if you need help, we have a really quick, it's like 4 or 5 questions, and we give you a score. Think of it as a traffic light, green, yellow and red. And then we tell you, give you some suggestions. And if you want to talk to us further, then we'll go into a deeper dive. We also are going to be doing some office hours in February at Venture Cafe in Cambridge.
Amazing.
So they're going to host us, and we will meet with founders and small business owners there. So
Cool. We'll
Is
put
that
that in
where
the show
your,
notes, like when it is.
Business is based? Is it in Boston or is it Boston area?
Yeah, so we're located in Whittemore Street, downtown Boston,
Oh,
but
nice.
we're both, we work a lot remotely because our customers are
Yeah, of
across
course,
the United
of
States.
course.
But headquartered in Boston.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very
And
nice.
Yeah. Do you do U.S., international, or mostly U.S. right now?
U.S. right now, but we're actually quoting. We have a couple business partners that we partner with, do payroll. So we're actually doing a quote right now on some international business.
Very nice.
And because I have an international background, and so, but it will go to that company. But the goal is we give them referrals, and hopefully they'll give us referrals. So
Yeah.
It'll be
we,
great.
we share.
Yeah.
Yeah. Businesses building businesses.
Yeah, that's right.
So cool. Well, thanks so much for coming.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
It's so great to have you.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Namaste, no way, ladies. This is great.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Backpocket Talent, your go-to fractional HR partner for startups, small businesses, and growing teams. If you're hiring your first employee or scaling fast, Backpocket helps you stay compliant, build culture, and lead with confidence. They make HR feel less like a headache and more like a growth strategy. From onboarding guides to manager training, they've got founder-friendly tools that actually work. Check them out at backpockettalent.com and follow along on LinkedIn for real talk on hiring, compliance, and building teams that thrive. Thanks for joining us today. We know your time is valuable and probably interrupted, so we're grateful to be a part of your chaos.
Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our next episode.
Leave us a review if you loved it. Or even if you didn't, we can take it. We've survived toddler tantrums.
Barely. Namaste, bitches.